Hello and welcome to my no-nonsense guide for the Citadelle Day More Black Ops 6 Zombies map. The very beginning of this is pretty self-explanatory. You're going to follow the objective markers. They always give you the objectives up until about the power. So you're going to come up here to the lion cannon. You're going to blow open the castle doors here. Jump on down. Make your way through the castle. You got about 3 more doors to go through until you make your way into this little under area. You're going to then blow open these locks. Kill the doppelganger that comes out. He will drop a crystal. You're going to take this crystal and then you are going to run it back into the same container that the doppelganger came out of. I don't really know what the purpose of this was because it was already in there, so why didn't it just activate? But maybe it was because it was inside the doppelganger there. But you're going to take the crystal back here. It'll then turn on the pack-a-punch machine. Now you can go pack. If you go up one more floor, right behind the quick revive, you're going to find Mr. Kraft here. He is going to yap your ear off for what feels like an eternity, but luckily no zombies will eat your face while you're doing it. They'll just disappear and go off somewhere and maybe go play, like, I don't know, poker or something. Once you talk to him, you're going to have like a purple hue on your screen. This will then activate pretty much all of the ritual items for you to get. So the first ritual you're going to get is the Brooch. You're going to get this by going back to the room with the knights. You're going to find a couple of these like lantern-like candle things up in the air. You're just going to shoot them until the laser gets nice and fully, full there. And then all the way over to that little mannequin head that has the brooch. These ritual items will open up certain areas on the map that we'll need for later. We'll show you that a little bit later. Back at the start of the map, there is going to be a couple ritual items that we're going to need. So the first is the brooch, the second is going to be that horseshoe there. The horseshoe is in the barn. You're going to take that horseshoe and then you're going to jump yourself into this cannon and you're going to shoot yourself back to the town square. This is going to cause a lightning strike to happen. That lightning strike is then basically going to take your horseshoe and make it either on the left side of the map or the right side of the map. You can distinguish what side it went to based on the storm cloud that appears. Just go pick up your Pegasus horseshoe there. Then third ritual item is the Raven Claw. You have to take the water slide down. There's going to be a raven at the very end of the water slide right before you get into the sewer grate. Shoot it off the ledge there. It'll start flying away. Shoot it a couple more times. It'll blow up into a beautiful kerfluffle of feathers. And the Raven Claw will then come down, which activates the other ritual spot. This is now 3 of 4. The last and final piece is going to be the Ankh that you're going to need. You're going to find these 3 like pyres of wood on each side of the castle, left side, right side, and middle. You can do all this, by the way, before you even get any of the swords. I recommend doing all these before you get the swords. If you want to get to this one here, you can either go down by the speed cola or you can just chuck them all on top over here. You could also use the fire mods for this. You just have to wait for it to basically activate. I already have the fire sword. You can use the fire sword as well using the special ability. What this does is it triggers a bunch of zombies to spawn out of the pyres, and eventually at one point you're going to get a doppelganger. That doppelganger there spawning in. You're going to kill this doppelganger and it will drop the 4th ritual item, which is an Ankh. We're going to need these ritual items to pop up the incantation chests that show up. So first and foremost, we're going to, before we get to any of that, let's get to the swords done. So at wave 10, finally starting at wave 10, you can get these stamps from these wonderful bucket-headed zombies you can see here. There's beautiful bucket-head zombie. You basically just pick up the stamps, you take each stamp up to the knight, and then you can activate the sword. There's going to be 4 stamps, 4 swords, 4 knights. Once you kill all 4 knights, you get all 4 stamps, you get all 4 swords. No more knights will spawn. You don't have to worry about them anymore. You can hold a zombie long enough to get like 2 of the knights, so you can actually get all the swords by like wave 12 or 13. Let's get the first sword activated, the fire sword. You're going to put the fire sword in the big old dragon. The dragon's going to light up. You're going to see like a little statue or a painting above that with 3 lit areas. These represent the 3 braziers that are going to be around the map. You have to basically go to each one, activate it, and then you're going to become imbued with dragon fire, which will do damage to you over time. In order to survive it, you either need to punch a zombie or get stamina up and jug so that you can maintain your health as you're running your way back to the dragon. After all 3 braziers are brought back to the dragon, it will spit fire on the sword, and you have yourself a fire sword, which has that wonderful charged ability where you basically throw out a nuke, which is amazing. Next up, we're going to do the lion sword. Lion sword is actually pretty easy. You're going to grab the lion sword. It's going to spawn 4 glowing parasites. Make sure they're glowing. If you hit it, if you hit a glowing parasite, it'll turn your sword nice and yellow. And then you're going to run all the way over to back near the beginning. There's a door underneath a little overpass with a lion knocker on it. You're going to slash that sword right into the door. It'll start to highlight with symbols. And after all 4 are slashed and put back up on there, you can interact with the door finally, taking you to another location. This is a tiny little hallway. This hallway is going to have a little pedestal. You put the sword in there, and all of a sudden symbols are going to come out. You have to correspond the symbols that are floating around to the symbols on the pedestal. Then you have to shoot them, and then they go in. As long as you shoot them in the right order, you will then imbue the sword with light magic. Now, this is one of my favorite swords to utilize, simply because it gives you almost an invulnerability. It's like a really cool like whirlwind ability that goes around you and just basically kills everything. It's pretty fantastic. You're going to see it here in just a second. You're going to pick up the sword once you imbue it. And here we go. Charge it up and go pow. Whirlwind. All right, next sword we're going to do is the lightning sword. You want to go back to the barn where we found the horseshoe. Just to the left of Deadshot Daiquiri, there's going to be this elemental lightning rod here. You want to pick that up. You want to get dead wire on your gun. Come back to the lion door. There's a little fuse box. Shoot that with dead wire just like we did in Terminus. And then another lightning rod will spawn from the lightning vein at the top of the house. And then last but not least, you need to have the actual sword on you. Go back to the room where you find Craft. There will be a jail cell where a guard will come out, and he actually has that elemental lightning rod inside of his chest. So you have to have the sword equipped and go down there so that he spawns. If you don't have the sword, it won't work. You're going to take all three of those elemental rods over to the little vase on top of the battlements of the castle, put them all in, and it's going to start a little mini game, a little challenge. It's a timed event. All you have to do is just wait for your sword to get charged up with lightning, and then go smack the metal vase again, and do that 3 times, and then put the sword back in, and you will get the lightning sword. Last but not least, now this one's a little bit more complicated. This is the void sword. I always do this one last just because it's the longest one to do. You want to go back to the bar, into the basement of the bar, and you had to go find a antiquity. The antiquities are found inside the alchemist room, where all like the benches and where you actually found the brooch. You just have to run around the room and find out what antiquity you get. There's 5 different antiquities here, and here on the screen are the different symbols you need to use for different antiquities. So just make sure you're doing the right ones. You only have to memorize the top arrow and the top symbol, because other than that, everything falls into place perfectly. So here are the 5. So just use this guide. In this case, this is the scorpion. So we want to go find those corresponding symbols. Once that works, you're going to get a little animation, and a giant void hole will open up in the floor. What you're basically going to do here is just, as these little void orbs are flying out of the spot where you put the sword, you want to coax them into going into the ground in the void hole. Once you get 3 orbs into the holes, it will move spots around the bar. And then when all 3 locations are done, then the void hole will then close up, head back down to the basement, and then you can go pull your sword out. Once you pull the sword out, the sword will kind of float above another void hole. The sword will then go down into the void hole and re-emerge as the void sword, and now you have all 4 swords, and we can start the rituals. The void sword is actually really cool because it does give you a Gersh power-up, which is sweet. It's really effective against massive groups of zombies. So the first ritual item, we're going to take that Ankh that we got a little while back. We're going to come over here to the main courtyard of the castle. A little glowy spot will appear on the ground. You put the Ankh there, and all you have to do is just kill stuff. It's a soul box. It's a Black Ops 3 soul box. You don't have to really do anything, but you have to make sure that you are hitting the chest that comes out with the corresponding sword. This is why I do the swords first. This way, when you do the rituals, you already have the sword on you, charged up, ready to go. It allows you to open up the box to get the incantations, which we'll need in a little bit. So here is the light. It's inside the courtyard, or inside the night room here. The void one was in the undercroft underneath where the quick revive is. You have to go 2 more floors down, or 1 floor away from the Pack-a-Punch. And then last but not least, the lightning rod is going to be in the starting area right to the left of the statue. So here's your next glowy spot. You're going to put the Pegasus horseshoe there, and once again soul box it up until you have the chest that opens up. And then once you have all 4 chests open up, you are ready to progress to the next section. So now from here, what we need to do is, now this is fun because this is actually skippable, and I'll explain in a little bit. But inside the bar, there are 6 vases. These 6 vases are numbered 1 through 6, and if you activate them, a symbol will appear. At this point, you're going to need, if you're playing solo, you're going to need to get a pen and paper. Highly recommend it. Just draw the symbols in the order 1 through 6. This is going to correlate to the puzzle wall that is down below. But before we go down the puzzle down below, we want to go back into the room with the bunk beds. There's going to be these 4 pages hidden around here. They have red glowing symbols. There is 1 in each quadrant of the room. So this room is basically divided into 4 different pieces. And what you're going to be doing is looking for these 4 pieces, 1 per section. So this outer area on the side I'm in here right now is section number 1, 2 is the first half of the room. Now we're going into 3, and then this is section 4 over here. This will make sense with the graph I'm putting on the screen. Basically, you can skip this entire next part of the puzzle if you just memorize what the symbols were on the pieces of paper you're picking up, because you don't actually need to activate the rune wall in order for you to do the pages, as long as you do them in the specific order, which are the traps on the ground, by the way, which we'll show you in a second. But basically, you're just going to go around and find these 4 different pieces. They are in different locations, but there is 1 per section. Once you have that, you want to get Melee Macchiato, come to the Undercroft, punch this wall here. You're going to see this giant rune puzzle. And basically what you're going to do at this point is you're going to coordinate your vases symbols 1 through 6, and you're going to shoot those symbols in order 1 through 6. Now, I do need to let you guys know that this rune wall, this puzzle that we're doing here, does like alternate every single time. So every time you shoot a symbol, it'll start to change the symbols up. I highly recommend that you play with someone else to either keep a zombie or tell you what the symbols are as you're doing it, because doing this solo can get kind of annoying, which is why I suggest that you skip it. But skipping this requires you to have pretty damn good memory. I will say that in the next portion, when we're done with this, what this does is it opens up that little wall to the left of this puzzle. And that basically just shows a book that you put those 4 pages in. When you put those 4 pages in, it gives you the order in which you need to actually kill zombies in specific traps. The traps are on the ground. If you notice when you put the Pack-a-Punch up, the traps themselves have different looks to them. So in this case, we're looking for these 4 pages here. I'm going to put them in. If this zombie would leave me alone. Once again, this is annoying to do solo because there's a zombie, which is why I actually prefer to skip this part. So you have an eye, you have northeast, southwest, an eye with a circle, and then you have the cardinal direction compass. So now you want to go find those corresponding traps on the ground, and those traps are going to be done in order from top left to bottom left, top right, bottom right. And if you go to the right one, the traps will actually deactivate really quick. And I want to show you what this looks like. If you do the right page at the right time, it'll start to deactivate. So I've already done 2 here. Here's number 3. Actually, this is the last one. I skipped around. My apologies. I was trying to make this video as short as possible for you guys, but you get the gist. You want to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Not that hard of a puzzle to solve. If you did it right, the last one is going to have this red orb that comes out of it. This red orb is going to be taking you to a location where a painting on a wall will appear. This painting does differ every single time. These 4 symbols relate to the 4 knights and the 4 sword elements, and this just relates to the order in which you need to do the incantation step, which is next. So as you can see here, it's lion, elk, raven, and dragon. So that means we have to go back to the night room, and as long as you did all the incantations and you did all of the rituals, you should have all the incantations in this room. So let's start with the fire one here. We're going to go find the fire incantation. And what's nice is all the incantations are in the room with the knights. Now, I've already done all the other 3, but I want to show you what this looks like. You basically just want to use your incantation on a knight that corresponds to that drawing. And then once you hear the wah, you then want to inspect your weapon using I on keyboard. And then when all 4 knights are hit with incantation in the right order, this orb will appear in the sky and slowly come down to the ground, in which you can then pick it up. So we're going to grab this orb, and then we're going to do my least favorite part about this whole Easter egg. We now have to go to 4 different locations, each next to the ritual spot that you did, and now you actually have to charge the orb. You have to power it up using the elements to kill the zombies around it. So in this case, the fire orb, you want to use the immolation incantation. You can use Molotovs. Anything that sets zombies on fire and kills things with fire damage will then basically blow them up into red power orbs. So that's how you do that one. The light one is very similar, but you don't have to kill any zombies for this one. You still have to power it, but all you have to do with this one is just run through these orbs that show up. You do need to babysit the orb. You want to make sure that you are running through the orb and following the orbs as they go, because what they're actually doing, the orbs that are farther away actually have to like stop at certain points. So you have to run through it again until it gets close enough that it can charge the light orb. Once you do that about 4 or 5 times, it'll be charged. You're good to go. The lightning orb is going to be charged over here by the lightning ritual right next to it. Same thing, you want to have dead wire in your guns, or the lightning incantation, or the lightning sword. All 3 of those things work. As long as you're doing lightning damage and you kill things while they are struck by lightning, you will see the orbs go in and then charge up that orb as well. And then last but not least is going to be the void orb. Void orb, very similar to the other ones, is you're just going to take the orb. You're going to run to the undercroft where you did the raven's foot, and you're going to put it into the slot next to that. Boom. start the challenge up, and then very similar to the rest, you're going to basically use your void sword. You want to use void grenades, void whatever, and this will then charge the orb up once you get it done. This will then complete all 4 orbs, and we are on to the very final stages of the game, or the Easter egg rather. You're going to take that orb that's fully charged up, you're then going to put that orb in the wall, which will then reveal a secret room. The secret room is going to have a item in it that you're going to need. This item is actually going to trigger a cutscene where you're going to talk to this floating ghost boy. And then once he's done yapping, you can then head back to where you started and go to the statue and put that into the statue. And this is going to teleport you to the boss room. Now you're going to fight the Guardian. The Guardian here is going to be a 3-phase fight, just like the Project 13 or the Kraken from Terminus. However, this guy does not have any group wipes, which is super nice. The only difference in this fight from the Project 13 fight is the fact that he has armor. You have to shoot his armor off, so you're going to have his chest plate, you're going to have his gauntlets, you're going to have his feet, you're going to have his shoulder pads. Once you shoot those off, you can actually do damage to him. And then every phase he goes into, you're going to get max ammo like normal. And then you're going to just go through the phases. It's pretty simple. He does get faster each phase, and he does also kind of like do a lot more, not AoE damage, but the ground itself starts to have a lot more fire, like it sticks around, so your playfield's a little bit smaller. If you complete it, you're going to be greeted with an item that's on the ground. You have to go pick up the item. That's the amulet. This is going to get us one step closer to the talisman that we're looking for. And then you're going to get an endgame cutscene with Kraft, as he tells you he's actually getting attacked and you have to go save him. And we are going to leave that there. We are not going to show the cutscene because I don't want to spoil it for anyone. So here's some extra gameplay. But that's it. That's the no nonsense guide. Hopefully it helped. I do understand that some of the stuff was kind of skipped, but you guys get the idea. I'm just here to help you figure out what the puzzle is and how to do it. So I did skip a couple of the things to make this video a little bit shorter. But that's it. If you guys like more guides like this, let me know in the comments down below, and go give us a like and hit that subscribe button. I'm in Meyer Plague. I'm going to be doing a lot of zombies content. I got more videos for you, including shorts of all this stuff to kind of help you step by step. But that's it for me, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.